Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvanavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parambaram. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Hari Om. We have seen so far why this Gita. Why this Gita as in how is this Gita relevant to us even in today's day and age, and how it is going to be relevant to all those Arjunas, to all those seekers even in the many generations to come. Why? Because it has been written with such a grand vision, so that when we are to look for that true identity, that essence which is myself, where should I go? Whom should I seek? It is for such answers, in the middle of the battlefield of life, whom should I turn to? Where is that God who I might have not been, acknowledging so far, but in my in the times of trouble, when I need some help, I do know that He is there, and I do seek His guidance. So at such times, who comes to our guidance but the Lord Himself as Krishna, as our Sarathi. Sarathi as in our charioteer. So we are all in this, rigmarole, in this bhava roga, as Shankaracharya ji says, where we are stuck in this kind of dis-ease, where actually we should be at ease, knowing our true identity, but we have lost track of who we are, and definitely we are not of that purity to reach the level of the Rishi Munis of the yore, who could connect to the Upanishads, who had the purity, who had the tenacity, who had that complete Shraddha to seek the guidance and to have the truth revealed to them. For us, then what is the alternative? For us, then the alternative is nothing but to seek the guidance of the manual of self-unfoldment, which is the Bhagavad Gita, right? And this Gita has been beautifully penned by Veda Vyasji, right? He was the witness to it, and with the able assistance of his steno, which was Ganesh ji, right? Ganesh ji is the one who was his transcriber. So he was narrating, and it was Ganesh ji who was writing down the Mahabharata. And in this Mahabharata is where this Bhagavad Gita has come about, in the middle of the battlefield, in the middle of the Kurukshetra, right? As we go, we will also look at a bit of the Mahabharata, so that we get more clarity into what is happening, because that first chapter which is there, otherwise it is going to be just some names. So here we have started with the Gita Dhyanam, right? And we looked at the first verse in the last class, right? So I will chant the verse again, right? I hope some of you might already know it, others, those who don't know, will, I'm sure, pick it up on the way, right? Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Krathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaidamrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini. Okay, so this was the first verse, which is also with the first word Om. It is paying the obeisance, paying our respect to that highest of realities. And then going on to say, to whom, what is this, what is this Bhagavad Gita? To whom, what is this conversation, what is this dialogue, and between whom is it? So here he says, Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. So here it is Bhagavata, it is not Bhagavatam, it is Bhagavata, Pratibodhitam. Who has given this Gita, this song of the Lord? It is a dialogue between Lord Krishna, Swayam Narayana himself, and he is giving it to Partha, the son of Pritha, who is Arjuna, right? So Arjuna, now when we are saying that, right, he was that able student, he was the eligible, you might say eligible adhikari to receive this knowledge from the Lord himself, right? And therefore it is said, this Partha, why was he that eligible candidate? He was the eligible student because he was not just, the best in his, in his own dharma, which is that of being a kshatriya, right? He was the best in the warfare skills. He had not only the skills, he had the complete focus, he also had the right equipment for it. But more than anything, he had the right urge to receive that knowledge. And that he expressed to Lord Krishna. How did he express it? He expressed by surrendering himself to him, right? He no longer looked upon Krishna as his friend, but he looked upon him as his teacher. He looked upon him as the Lord himself, someone who knew much better than him what the outcome of this situation is going to be. The war situation that he had come into. Not that he was not aware of it, he was fully aware of what he was going to do in the war, right? In that battlefield, he was completely aware. He was aware of who is there, whom he is going to face, etc. He was completely aware. And yet, he came to this delusion. He fell down completely under his own stress and strain, saying that how can I face this situation? It would be better to run away, O Lord. So he was that able student, and when he came to know that he is not able to handle this situation, he looked upon that teacher, that friend teacher that he had, who would be the best to give him the right kind of counsel, right? Not something, not something just to boost his ego and say that, oh, it's okay, we can do this together, come on. He could have, Krishna could have done that, but what did he do? Krishna first, provoked him, and he said, where has this kind of cowardice come into you? Get up. And then he goes on to tell him the truth. his own identity, not that of being this limited, but that of being the infinite, absolute truth itself. That was what was revealed to Arjuna. But when was it revealed to him? When Arjuna, he surrendered to him and he said that whatever you say, I am willing to listen and implement. Right? So here we had the best of students. And of course, when he has surrendered like this and he was willingly listening, then that knowledge flowed down to him, right? Then in the next line, right, in the second line, it is saying Vyasena grathitam. So that from Narayana Swayam, that knowledge came to Arjuna, but who is the one who composed it? Who is the one who wove it together like a garland? It was Vedavyasji, right? So he says Vyasena grathitam Purana Munina. Who is Vyasa? Vyasa is that Purana Muni, the one who wrote the 18 Puranas. That is Vedavyasji. And among them, one of the Puranas was the Mahabharata. Okay, and in that Mahabharata is this Bhagavad Gita. And what is it that came about through this Bhagavad Gita? Then he says Advait Amruta Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadasha Dhyayinim. So it is, this, through this Bhagavad Gita, the entire essence of the Upanishads, Advaita Amruta Varshinim. So Advaita over there is signifying the Upanishad, the essence of the Vedas. Okay, and so Amruta over there is of course saying not just immortality, but it is that nectar of the Vedas. And how did it come? Did it come, as encompassed in that? It came encompassed in that 18 chapters. But how did it come about? It came like a shower. It was not that, it will be contained in one place and only from there you can get it. No. So that entire flood or rather the entire shower of that wisdom as though came upon. So that what? So that not just few benefit, but all who are drenched in it will benefit in some way or the other. Right? And then he goes on to say, and of course over there he calls this Bhagavad Gita, he terms as Bhagavatim. So that Bhagavatim is giving that stature of the goddess herself, right? That mother goddess itself. And then in the last line, he says, Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. So he says, that, O mother, O Bhagavad Gita, what do? I meditate upon you. I meditate upon you so that what? So that I am rid of all these, this entire that bhava roga that is surrounding me. All this that I have come into, that I am born into, that is this samsara. May I be rid of it through your grace. And therefore, I not just surrender, but I bow down to you and I contemplate on you. Right? So this beautiful prayer of 9 verses, the Gita Dhyanam, the meditation on the Gita, is written by Sri Madhusudan Saraswati ji. And of course, to meditate on Gita, it's not simple, na? 700 verses. So how do I meditate, you might say? If you say one verse I meditate upon, then I will take the meaning of each. I will think on what it is conveying, and then I will meditate. But how do I contemplate on 700 verses? So therefore, here what is said is that each chapter, what will I do? First of all, I will receive it. I will receive it through Shravana, and maybe I will do repeated Shravana also, so that the depth of it also, it will come to me. And not just Shravana, I will also then do Manana on it. Manana is to let go of whatever doubts that I might have. So what are the doubts I might have over here? So here the doubts could come in various ways, because I am in this samsara and I am affected by the circumstances that I go through, by the people that I come about, right? So it is not so easy. I might listen, but I might, my mind might throw so many doubts, and I might not get the knowledge very easily. I might not be able to grasp this knowledge. I might not be able to own it up directly. And therefore, I will have to do some manana, contemplation. I'll have to churn this knowledge, and only then will I be able to abide in it. So therefore, this dhyana is very much important. But how will it come about? When I surrender to that Bhagavad Gita. I don't consider her as a book or verses alone, but I consider her as that ultimate giver of that knowledge, which will take me across this Bhava Sagar. Okay, so here he says, Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. The one who destroys the Bhava Roga. That Bhagavad Gita I bow down to. Right? And then we had seen this verse. Now we will go on to the next one. So in the second verse, what is done? Second verse I think this is the wrong file, but I will just chant it out to you. In the second verse, we dedicate to Guru Veda Vyasji. What is the second verse saying? He says, Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullar Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharatataila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayaf Pradipaha. So how can we not bow down to Veda Vyasji? So who is this Veda Vyasji? So in the first verse, right, in the second line it was mentioned that he is the one who compiled. He brought together the 18 chapters, strung them as though in a garland, and he brought it to us. So this Veda Vyasji, what can we, whatever we might even imagine about him, or whatever we might even say about him, it is less, because his vision was such. I don't recall the exact words. Maybe next time I will try and find the shloka which Guruji Swami Tejamayanji had written one beautiful composition on Veda Vyasji, and in that he says that he is not just one person, but he is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, all three together. Because not only did he brought about this whole manifestation of the Vedas, right? The Vedas, he brought it together, compiled it together in a form that we can all access it, right? Otherwise, how was it? Otherwise, of course, it is apaurushaya. They are revelations, right? So he got it made into written format, and he gave it to his own students to work on each part of them, right? So we have the four, which is Rig, Sam, Yajur and Atharvan, right? So he gave each of his students, his disciples, the work of compiling the four Vedas, compiling the Veda into four. We can't say that the Vedas is four. Vedas is one only, but it is just compiled into 4. And of course, he also foresaw that there will be a time when we will not be able to give that much of focus to these Upanishads as the rishis of the yore had done. We might not have that purity to connect with the mantras as the mantra drashtas. Those were the who were the seers, they were the mantra drashtas, right? But then if that would happen, then what would happen to this knowledge? How would it be sanatana? How would it be eternal? And therefore, he worked in various ways. So one part was compiling the Vedas into 4, having it done in written format. Then the next was what? The next was that, he got the Puranas compiled, right? The Puranas, what are they doing? They are elaborating on those Upanishad mantras, right? So what are they doing? If the Upanishad mantra says one thing in a very succinct manner, then who is going to do the vistar of that? Who is going to elaborate on that? That the stories in the Puranas, the Itihasa Puranas that are there. Which are the Itihasa Puranas? The Ramayana, the Mahabharata. So in that also, whatever stories are given, they are elaborating on those teachings of the Upanishads itself, right? And then he also had the Brahma Sutras. He also worked on the Brahma Sutras, so that what happens, if there are any particular mantras which might have some kind of conflict, from one Upanishad to the next, right? One mantra we might think is conveying certain idea. Next one might be, we are thinking that maybe it is conveying something totally contradictory. How does one come to an understanding? So that's the reason he worked on the Brahma Sutras, right? So he was such a great mind, right? And who had so much of love. One second, I hope all are able to hear clearly. 1 second, I will just not allow to. Yeah. So basically, when we said this, right? Basically, when we are saying that there is the Upanishads, there is the Brahma Sutra, and there is the Puranas, right? Then out of compassion, he also worked on the Bhagavatam, right? So that through that bhakti, we can reach that ultimate truth. Because it is not just a bhakti grantha, it is also that which is conveying the universal truth, right? I will just suggest NRK Rauji, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah. Okay. So here when we are saying this, can you imagine this entire visionary work was done by this Mahatma, this avatar. We might call him an avatar Purush himself. And he is in that, when we say Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. So in between is who? Ved Vyas Ji is there. So you have Lord Shiva, then you have Ved Vyas Ji, then we, come to Adi Sankara Ji. Then of course there are other gurus in the lineage. But this parampara was such, with so much of reverence at each step, that not any of that knowledge went, missing anywhere. Because of someone's ego or because of someone wanting credit, right? It is that knowledge which was freely given. If we look, also the beauty of it is, nowhere is it a knowledge which is sectarian or which is, which is meant for only one particular strata of people or one particular geographical location. It is that knowledge which is universal, and it was given also in such a format. So here we are paying our salutations to that Ved Vyasji by saying Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe, right? And here also one more thing we have to remember, that beauty which he had in his wisdom, right? That love which he had in his wisdom, it was also very much visible on his physical stature also. And therefore here it is saying, Madhusudana Saraswati ji is saying, Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra. Not only his buddhi is vishal, his intellect is so vishal, right? That it could make, the entire knowledge, it could be given a concise sutra, or, to make it elaborate in huge, Puranas. But physically also, when anyone would come across him, right? Even in the Mahabharata, there are incidents when Vyasji comes and advises. So there also it is seen how much of love he would have had, right? Because without love, one can't serve. One can't serve humanity without love, and without wisdom, there cannot be that depth to that love. So that much was his wisdom, right? And that much was the compassion that he gave us this much of knowledge, right? And then, then the next line over there, next line says, Yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha prajvalito jnanamayah pradeepah. So what has he done? What has Vedavyasji done? So he, through this wonderful work of the Mahabharata. Now Mahabharata, we have to remember that it is the Purana. Okay. So because of this beautiful work of Mahabharata, which elaborates in various ways, it is also said that yad iha asti tad anyatra, yanna iha asti na kutrachit. It is said of Mahabharata that which is there in the Mahabharata alone is there prevalent in the world. Whatever incidences we see, whatever characters of people we might see in the world, whatever situations we might face, they have already been mentioned in the Mahabharata in some incident or the other, through some character of the Mahabharata or the other, right? So therefore it is said, yad iha asti tad anyatra. That alone is prevalent everywhere. Yan na iha asti na kutrachit. That which is not there here, that is not going to be there outside of here, right? So here, when we say this, right, what has he done? Through the Mahabharata, he has depicted the 4 Purusharthas of man. What are the 4 Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? And so this dharma is what? Dharma is to do my karma in the right way, right? My nitya karma, my naimittika karma, that karma which I should not get into, right? So what will be the result of that? What is an alternative to that? What should I do if I have done something wrong? So all these things have also been, elaborated in the Mahabharata, right? Then Artha is what? Artha is material wealth. I am there in the world for my own sustenance, etc. I will have to do some actions. I will have to get into activities to sustain myself, right? And for that, how should I transact in the world? That is also given. And Kama is what? That work that those desires that I have, how do I fulfill them? In such a way that not only I fulfill them, but I also reach higher in my evolutionary ladder, right? Then so too it is said, how do I, once I am done with all this, once I have had enough of all this, how do I now go towards what? Towards that ultimate goal of life. How do I meet that truth which is me? That too is given in great vistar, not just in the Puranas, but specifically in the Bhagavad Gita. Because what is the Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the Upanishads itself, given step by step, so that it becomes more accessible to people like us. Okay, so is the, so therefore what is he saying here? That knowledge which has come about through this Mahabharata, that becomes the fuel, the oil that lights the lamp, that kindles the lamp for my progress. Yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha. Bharata over there is that Mahabharata. Okay, Bharata taila purnaha prajvalito jnanamaya pradeepaha. It lights that lamp of knowledge. It kindles the lamp of knowledge for me. So here one is that, we are offering salutations to Vyasa ji, and there is the metaphor of the lamp, right? The lamp is something that not just, it gives effulgence to itself, not just it, makes itself known. It is also that which through its flame, it illumines everything around it also, right? So this knowledge, this essential truth is what is being conveyed by this Bhagavad Gita. Okay, any other knowledge from the world, what will it give me? It will give me knowledge of that particular subject, right? Like if I want to know chemistry, or if I start and understand the science of metallurgy, then I will know only that particular area, right? That will become a Vishesha. But that Samanya, that which is general, right? And that which makes me know everything else, that specific knowledge is that knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. Having known which, what happens? I know everything. I know everything as in, I know the truth about myself, and that makes me know the world also and how to transact with the world also. Okay, so thus we pay our salutations to this great Guru, this great teacher, and specifically we celebrate the Guru Purnima by invoking Vyasa ji, right? Now the next shloka which comes up is the salutations to Lord Krishna. Where it says, Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye jnanamudraya krishnaya Gītāmrutaduhe namaha. So here the shloka is this: Prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gītāmruta Duhe Namaha. Okay, so here in the first line, what is he saying? There are three things that are being conveyed here, right? One is that, in the line 1, it is said, how is this Lord Krishna? He is like that wish-fulfilling tree. Which tree? Parijata. The Parijata tree or the Kalpataru tree, that is the tree, which we invoke. Normally, the gods, there are stories which are given in the Puranas there. What is done? The Kalpataru tree is, that which fulfills all wishes, all desires, right? So the gods would go to them, right? So here they are saying that Prapanna Parijataya, that Krishna is who? He is like that wish-fulfilling tree. And why is that? So he is the one who is holding a stick in his hand. Okay, now we have to remember that he is a cowherd boy, okay? He is the one who was, as a child also, what was his duty? His duty was to take care of his cattle, right? And therefore he had, of course he had everyone remembers that he had a flute, right? But he also had a stick in hand. So that, wherever the cattle are going astray, he will gather them, right? And for that he might have to give a certain that hit also. He might hit that cow slightly to make sure that the cow is not going astray anywhere. So here he is saying that who is this Krishna? He is that who is Totra Vetraika Panaya. He is the one who is holding that stick in hand. Stick in hand, what is he going to do? All these devotees, all the people, all the beings, all the seekers especially, right? When they are going to go astray, what will he do? He will put them in place. How will he do that? You are saying two contradictory things. One, you are saying that, he is that wish fulfilling, he is like that wish fulfilling tree. And the other, you are saying that he is also the one who is having a stick in hand. So how will he do that? So what he will do is, what I deserve, that he will give. So when he is going to fulfill my wishes, what will he fulfill? He will fulfill as per my karma, what is coming in line with that only he will fulfill. He is not going to specially do something. He is not going to be partial. So what is going to happen? Whatever my desires are, if they are towards my overall good. Now we have to remember, he is that who is the karma phala data, okay? So he knows what I am doing. Even when no one is watching, he knows what I am doing, okay? And therefore he will, at the right time, he will make the right move, so that what I should get rightfully happens. So that what I should get rightfully, in order that I move up this evolutionary ladder, that happens. That might seem good to me sometimes, that might not seem good to me sometimes, right? But he knows best. And therefore, to only those who have surrendered to him, like whom? Like Arjuna, and who says, okay Bhagwan, you do as per what you seem fit. I am here to do as per your will, right? So therefore, this is that Krishna, right? So how is he? He is prapanna parijataya totra vetraika panaye. And then in the other hand, how is it? He is having this jnana mudra. How is this jnana mudra? Normally as kids also, or when we are sitting for yoga also, normally this is the mudra that we hold, right? What is it? The three fingers, they are together and they are upright, and you have the index finger here, right? And that is touching the thumb, so that this becomes a circle, right? This becomes a circle, Purna. This becomes the circle, right? And this thumb is slightly out. Can you see? The thumb portion slightly out, right? Okay, right? So, is this just like that? What is a mudra? So now you have to understand that a mudra has a certain purpose. It is not that, we keep the hand, we might have seen dancers, right? They practice when they do certain hand gestures, right? And they are called those mudras, right? And also, we might see during some pujas and offerings which are given at that time, you might have also seen at that time the pujaris again do certain hand gestures. Now these hand gestures, they are having particular significance, okay? So the logic being this, that when I do something physically, that connects with my thought. Okay. When I do this, it makes certain thought arise in me, which delights me. Okay. So what is mudra actually? Mudra is normally that which brings delight to the soul. Okay. Modate anaya iti mudra. Okay. So that which brings delight to the soul. So there is some significance that, that connects this mudra to that thought process. Okay. So here the Jnana mudra, this mudra which we call the chin mudra, is also said to be the Jnana mudra. So here also the mention is given Jnana mudraya Krishnaya. That Krishna is holding this Jnana mudra. So what is this Jnana mudra? So here when we have the 3 fingers, what are these 3 fingers signifying? So you have this small finger, little finger. It is the Stula Sharira. Okay. It is the gross body. It is signifying the gross body. Then that next finger is signifying the subtle body. Sukshma Sharira. Okay. Then next one is what? Next one is the causal body or the Karana Sharira. These are what? These are my equipment when I am transacting with the world. Okay. And who is illumining these? Is the reflection of consciousness, which is my index finger. In Hindi or in Sanskrit we will call this the Chirabhasa, the reflection of consciousness. Okay. So if this is the reflection of consciousness, which we also will call Jiva or the individuality. Okay. It is signifying the individuality. Which is this identity I have taken, right? Me the Jiva, me this person in this world, me this being is this. Then what is that source? Source is this thumb. That consciousness or Chaitanya, which is the universal truth. Okay. So this individuality, this Jiva, when it is in connect with this Chaitanya, what will happen? This will, the three which is that manifestation of this entity, this Jiva in this world, that will come about. Okay. Right. So this Jnana mudra, what is it going to do? This is the Jnana mudra, okay? Fine. And this is that totality, right? I am only in connect to a certain extent. And what will it do? This Jiva, when it is totally identified with this Brahma, that Chaitanya or consciousness or Brahma that we call, when it is completely in connect with it, what will happen? My Purnatva will manifest. I will know my essential truth. Okay. So this Jnana mudra is signifying what? That by which I will connect with my reality. And who is holding that? Who is enabling that? That Jagat Guru, Krishna, is holding that. Okay. And it is by his grace alone that this knowledge will not just come to me, but I will be aligned to it, that I will benefit from it. Okay. So it is not that I have to take this Krishna for granted. I have to know him. I have to know his reality. and only when I surrender to him will I fully become one with him. Okay. So therefore here it says Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha. So that Krishna, what is he going to do? He is the milker. Gita Amrita, that nectar of the milk of Gita. Who is the one who is going to give it to me? It is that Krishna. So it is said, Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya. That Krishna, who is he? He is the Prapanna Parijata. He is the one who is the fulfiller of my desires. Right? Who is he? Again, he is the one who is holding that, he is the cowherd boy holding that stick. Totra vetra ekapanaye. And third is what? He is that who is holding that Jnana Mudra. Why? Because he is going to reveal that truth, which is that essence of the Gita. Gita Amritaduhe Namaha. So not only is that cowherd boy, so therefore he is also going to be the one who will milk that Gita Amrit and give it to me. So therefore the next verse which comes up, what does it say? So let me put it up for you. So the next one says, what is this Gita? Little bit more he is elaborating. He is saying, Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsas Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. He says, if you see, now we understood who is the one who is the milker of these cows. It is Krishna. He is the cowherd boy, right? Then what are the cows? Because we also understood that this Gita is the one which is holding that milk for us, right? That nectar in milk. So how is it connected? How is this knowledge going to come to me? What is this correctly? So here is this beautiful metaphor which is brought out. So he says, Sarva Upanishadaha Gavaha. So all the Upanishads, if we see, there are so many Upanishads, right? So this Upanishads are the cows. If you take them to be the cows, then that milk that comes from them, who is going to milk that? That Gopalanandana. Who is that Gopalanandana? The son of Nanda Baba. Who is that? That is that Gopala, who is no one but that Krishna alone, right? What is he going to do? He is going to milk that cow. But the first milk from the cow, it goes to whom? Who is entitled to it? Only the calf. The calf has to be there, and only when the calf is there will that cow will be triggered to give the milk. Okay. So without the calf, you are not going to get the milk. So here, who is the first beneficiary of that milk? That is Arjuna. So Arjun ke nimitta, who is going to get? We are going to get, don't worry. We are going to get, but first it is going to be Arjuna. Arjuna is the one who is there, right there with Krishna, and Krishna is going to put this Arjuna in front, because Arjuna is the one who has that urge for that knowledge. He is the one who is now inquiring into the truths of life, and therefore Bhagwan is directly giving him this knowledge. Next, what is going to happen? So now, of course, Arjuna will take only that much as is sufficient. He is also a super student. He is that Uttama Adhikari. So for him, once he gets, it directly manifests. That knowledge directly comes to him, right? But now there are those who are the secondary beneficiaries. So once Arjuna is done, now that second next line up is the Sudhir Bhokta. Sudhir, those wise rishis, those who are very pure at heart, those who have, their mind completely in tune with the higher. What will happen to these? They will directly get this wisdom. Sudhir Bhokta. And then will they keep it to themselves? They will of course take the milk, but then they will see that that milk is, more than sufficient for their consumption. And therefore they will benefit also, but what will they do? They will see that there are so many more who can benefit from it. So therefore, they will definitely, in different ways, in different forms, they will make this milk available. Someone might get it as butter. Someone might get it as, khawa, make some mithai out of it and then get it. But in different forms, this Gita Amrita is going to be consumed by all. It is available for all, right? And therefore it is also saying the universality of this knowledge. It is not that it is confined to certain people only. It is that which is given to all. But who will benefit first? First is the one who has that deep urge for that knowledge. So that Arjuna was there and he benefited. Then next is who? Those who have reached that level of understanding, to grasp that knowledge, to put that focus without getting attached or without getting pulled by the world. So therefore they are said to be the wise. They are said to be Sudhira. Not just Dhira, not just those who are, forthright, but they are the ones who are completely focused on that only. They have seen the world and they have said that I know that I am not going to get what I want from the world alone, right? What I am getting from the world is bits and pieces of that happiness that I am looking for, right? But what I want, right? What is my goal? What is my purpose? That will not come about from this world, and therefore they have that vairagya, they have that clear understanding, and therefore they are approaching that knowledge in that way, right? So therefore they will benefit much more, right? That is what is being said over here, right? Now the next verse, he says, one second. Next verse says, Vasudev Vasutam. Okay, I don't know whether we have the time for it, but I will just chant the verse. Okay. Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. So, we had, you will say that already we thought Krishna was, he was already, we already offered our obeisance to him. Now again we are bringing in Krishna. Why is that? So here is that, devotee's heart coming to the fore, right? Because we know, where do we connect with Krishna more? We connect with that Natkhat Krishna, where we have seen his various leelas, etc. And to see him, to see him as that Jagat Guru then becomes slightly difficult, right? Because it's more than being difficult, because we see him as that person who was always there, and because of whom so much love came about in the heart of so many people. Even now it comes about, right? But we see him as that little lalla. We see him as that, the one who the gopas followed everywhere. The one who made the gopikas dance about. the one who, made all the people of Vrindavan go crazy about, right? And yet he was the one under whom everyone took shelter when the heavens poured down, right? So they knew that it was little Kanha only who can save us. Under that Govardhan Parvat, they took the shelter, knowing that he is the one who can hold up the mountain and save us, right? So here he is saying, let us pay obeisance to that Krishna. Who is that Krishna? So his parents' names are taken. Vasudeva Sutam Devam. He is the one who is the son of Vasudeva. And what did he do? The people of Mathura, they are most grateful to him, because he not only took away the rule of the atrocious, the wicked Kamsa, who was his own mama, right? He was his own uncle, right? And he not only killed him, there was also Chanur. Chanur was one of the demons over there who was employed by Kamsa, right? And then there was also Devaki Paramanandam. He is the one who is the delight of the heart of Devaki Ma, right? So he is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And he brought, even though initially it seemed like he was gone away from them, but he would always bring that delight to their hearts. Even if he was away or he was with them, finally it was Krishna who was the happiness of their hearts, right? And then that same Krishna is who? That same little Krishna is that Jagat Guru. That Jagat Guru who is milking that nectarian wisdom of the Upanishads in the form of the verses of Bhagavad Gita. And he is giving it to whom? To that Arjuna. And through Arjuna, Arjun ka leke bahana, keeping Arjuna as the nimitta, what is he doing? He is giving that knowledge to us, right? So we bow down to that great Guru, Lord Krishna, by whose grace alone we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is available to all, but it is not that all benefit from them, There are only few who are able to connect, right? And of course, our prayers are that many, many more connect, right? So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class. So there are another 4 verses of the Gita Dhyanam, and then we can start the chapter 1. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.